Hey guys, Jess with Wreaths. So we are working on our newest fall wreath. If you saw our last wreath, you saw the way that we cut this mesh and I just put it in here. We set up our wreath frame the same way as we did the other one with the 18 ties, 12 on the outside, 6 on the inside. I went around and I put in most of this ribbon. It is cut at 13 inches and we have a 2.5 inch that is a leopard with this really pretty bronze spots in it. And then we have this 1.5. It has the burnt orange, copper tones, a little reflective in there. And our that's at 1.5 inches, but it's also cut to 13 inches. So I'm putting the last few pieces in this top layer, and then we're going to make our bow, and we're going to talk a little bit about the embellishments. I am leaving these ties open. I'm just putting the ribbon in, twisting it one time, and then just leaving it like that because I am going to come through and put some raffia in there. I have this really pretty raffia I got at Hobby Lobby last year. It came in like a set with like a few different colors in it. It was like a plastic bag. I think it had like 5 different ones like this, but these 2 colors match what we're going with here. So I'm going to put a piece of this in each of the ties. So that's why I'm leaving them not tied all the way down. Normally when I make my wreaths, I will put the ribbon in and then twist it a couple times and tuck the pipe cleaner underneath. But right now you'll see I'm not doing that because I am going to put that raffia in there. So here we go. What I'll do with the raffia is I'll just separate it out. So we have like 9 pieces of each color because we do have 18 ties. And what I always do is like I'll separate it out like on a table ahead of time. So that way I kind of get the same amount in each tie. If you kind of start adding it as you go, then you might run out and you'll be like, well, now I have to go back through and take a little bit out of each one, or you realize you have a bunch left over and it's not enough for another project and you would have wished that you put a few extra strands in each one. So it's just easier to do ahead of time, for me anyways. You can find out what works best for you. So this is the last ribbon bundle that needs to go in the wreath, and then that's how it looks so far. Really pretty. You could leave it just like that, but I like to add more detail. So we're going to set this aside for now. I will be adding that raffia. I'm not sure if I'll be adding it on camera or off, but I wanted to show you. So we're going to make the bow. These are some of our ribbon choices that we have. This is a really pretty 4-inch burgundy that matches the mesh in the wreath. We have this really pretty burnt orange. And then I wasn't completely sure what pattern ribbons I wanted to use. I have this really pretty one that has leaves, and then it has like a wood grain, and it has copper threading, which is kind of the look we're going for, because I was inspired by the copper that's in the ribbon that I used for the ribbon tails. I'll be using this in the bow as well. And then I have this one. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use that or not. That's more of a gold than a copper, so I'm not sure yet on that. But I am going to be using this one. It's the green, and I also have it in brown. The brown has little golden speckles, and I think that'll look really pretty. And then I have this cream colored one, which I don't think I'm going to use, but I'm not sure. If I need a solid, I'll throw that in there. So then for our embellishments, I got these really pretty pumpkins. They're velvet. Even the stem is like bronze painted. I actually got these from Dollar Tree. They're not $1 anymore, they're $1.50. But these are the colors that I chose. The yellow, this kind of like a bronzy reddish color, sort of. And then a second one in this. A lot of times when I use big embellishments, I'll use 3. For some reason, the odd number looks better, balances it out. I think I'm going to put them on the top layer. Whenever I add big embellishments that have foam in them, I will super glue a skewer in there and then run a little bit of hot glue around the edge, just because it gives it a little bit more to stick in the wreath than just putting glue around here. I have seen other wreath makers just stick the glue on there and put it in the wreath. So I'm sure it does hold. I just wasn't so sure about it. And then I do have these really pretty. I have this pick. I only have one. I must have got it last year at the end of season, but it is bronze and a fern. And this was from Hobby Lobby in their fall section. And then I have these. I have 4 of them. And they're really pretty. They feel like dried flowers. And I think what I'll do is I will just like separate it into 3 sections like this, 1, 2, 3, and then stick it around the outside of the wreath. I just really think this looks pretty with the bronze shades, like this. I think that's gorgeous. And with those pumpkins too, I think it's gonna look really luxurious. When I think of leopard print, I just think of, you know, the person that I think that would like leopard print is just a little bit fancier, right? They might not necessarily like the rustic, like farmhouse look, but they want the details, and I just think that'll be pretty. So here we go. We're just making our bow now. I always dovetail the ends of my ribbons. Another thing I did too is, I don't know if you guys have seen on when I made my blue and orange football wreath, but I spray painted, here, let's see. Let's talk a little bit less and talk about the wreath or the ribbon. All right, the bow. I'm just making about 10-inch tails on that, gathering it like this. And then I'm using a bow dabra. I twist it so that the unfinished side is facing up over here. And then normally I make a 5-inch loop, and then I tend to make 2 on the bottom layer and then 1 on the next layer. So here we go. This measures actually about 6 inches. Okay, so here we go. What I've learned too is if you make the loops too big, sometimes it gets like, when you put it onto your wreath, it kind of gets sucked into the wreath and it doesn't shine as steal the spotlight type of look that we're going for. Okay, so here we go. So now we're gonna do the same thing again. Make it another loop the same size as that first one. And then I'm gonna spread the loops out so that kind of looks like this. Okay. So 1 on each side like that. You have to let me know if you're a wreath maker in the comments below. If you are, what season are you working on? Are you starting to work on fall? I know it definitely feels like summertime outside still. It's sunny and in the mid 80s here today in Michigan, where we're from. Okay, we're trimming that off. I use a straight pin to kind of keep my ribbons under control. And I did sell a wreath yesterday that was in the burgundy tones. It did have blue and burgundy. So hopefully this will fit the bill for somebody too. All right, so we did this one. I am gonna put these leaves in. I think that'll be really pretty. I'm gonna do 1 loop on each side for this one. But yeah, so I was, right before I came in to do this, I was outside spray painting some ficus, a bronze color. So if you've been here you watched a few of my videos with the last couple football wreaths I was making. All right, so this happened. I ran out of ribbon. So we're gonna pivot, and I have too much to make just 1 bow on each, or 1 loop on each side. So let's see what we're gonna do here. What we could always do is stretch it out, make our loop on each side, like this, not have a tail. There we go. Just cut a little bit. And that could possibly be used for like the bump that I put on top of my bows sometimes. There we go. So we're just gonna gather this and stick it down in there. There we go. Sometimes it happens. You always have, just like in life, you got a plan. But sometimes you have to deviate from the plan, and it normally turns out okay. So we have that. I think I am gonna use this one just to add some more solid in there. I'm gonna put 2 loops of this really pretty cream. It matches the color in this wood grain ribbon underneath. What's kind of nice about wreath making is like there's not a true rule about how you need to make your bows. Just kind of do what looks good to you. You kind of realize like how I did with like the 2-1-2-1, that type of thing. But I mean, whether you do pattern, I like to do some patterns, but some solids too. Because I feel like if you do patterns the whole time, it's kind of too much for the eye. But it is fun mixing patterns. There's definitely not a rule against that. Okay, so I made all my loops the same. This one on the bottom looks a little long, so we'll just pull. Stretch out that tail, make it a little bit shorter than that maroon one underneath it, or burgundy. Burgundy, maroon, is there really a difference? I don't know. You have to let me know in the comments below. So here we go, we're just trimming up that tail. Doing a little bit of dovetail on that. Stick this back in the bow dabber. All right. So now we're doing one that's empty. I think we'll do this one. Let's think. Yes, we'll do one of this. You know what? I like it because this has like an off-white check pattern on it. And it'll bring out the off-white in there, and it'll also bring out the bronze color that's in there because it has really pretty leaves and all the different shades. When I think of fall, I think about all the different shades of fall, all the different tones. When I bought those pumpkins that I just showed you, those velvet ones, I bought pretty much every one that they had. Because I like making fall wreaths in all different tones. They had really pretty olive green ones. They had some dark blue, some medium blue, that mustard yellow, that burnt orange. I didn't see any pink ones. I don't know if they had those at one point or not. But I just wanted to have some variety and some choices. And if I don't use them this year, I'll use them next year. So I'm just I'm coming in about, fingers width on each loop from the loop before. I'm gonna throw the leopard print in here now. Actually, I'm going to put the bronze. And like I said before, normally I like to do all my wider ones first before I do the skinnier ones, but I think this will be pretty. When I'm doing like a themed wreath that doesn't have a bow, like I would think that this wreath would be like leopard print. It would be the theme. I will try to use that ribbon in the bow too, or some kind of ribbon that has that same pattern to just kind of drive home that that is what we're going with. We're going, if somebody wants a leopard fall ribbon wreath, that is what I'm delivering. There's no question about what theme it is. We are getting a little bit thick on our bow here. My bow dabber is not holding up its end of the bargain here. This one has been, I was trying to think of how many bows I've made on here. And I've made over 500 wreaths. I've sold, I think, what was the count? Like 520, I think, in my Etsy shop since I've started about 6 years ago. So that probably means I've made about 500 bows. I know when I was starting out wreath making, I was not making bows for my wreaths. I would just put the ribbon tails and the sign because I wasn't super confident in my ability to make bows. But it's kind of like anything else. Practice doesn't make perfect. It makes progress, in my opinion. And it's, you know, anything you do, the more you do it, the better you get at it. It comes more naturally. And there's always room for improvement. Okay, so there's that. And then we're going to put one loop of this leopard. This is going to be a really pretty bow. Here we go. Put the one loop of the leopard in. There we go. We want to make sure that we don't make it so big that it covers up our burnt orange 1.5 inch. We don't want that. So here we go. Bring it through. Try not to have it escape my bow maker. And I'm trying to decide if I want to put what I want to do for that middle part. If I want to throw on that, I want to throw on this little piece in the middle there. Let me see. What do we think? What do you think? Let's think. Is it too much pattern on pattern? Normally I don't like to. Normally I don't like to end with just the one loop on top. But we're gonna try it. Let's try it and see how we like it. I'm gonna grab a pipe cleaner. I like to just take this last inch or so, kind of bend it like that, and then we'll take our bow stack. We'll grab it in our hands as tightly as we can so that none of it unravels or escapes. And then just move your thumb a little bit. Grab the pipe cleaner underneath. This is very thick. Just give it a few twists. Okay. And the back looks like this. It's got the one long one and the short one. And then just buff out the tails in the order that you put them in. There we go, the copper. And then this pretty bronze with the gold flecks. And the leopard, like this. And then open up the loops. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and then the one in the middle, and then this one. Okay, I think I like the way that looks. 2, 1, we're doing the other side, same thing we did, just opening up the loops, spreading them out. All right, I like that. What do you guys think about that? There we go. What do you guys think about that? That's really pretty in my opinion. Set it down. And there you go. All right. Well, leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think about it. And don't forget to like, comment, and share. And I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.